Vladimir Putin has travelled to the Russian-occupied Ukrainian city of Mariupol. The trip comes a day after he visited Crimea and marks the first time he visited occupied territory in Ukraine since the full-scale invasion of the country.
Newly indicted as a war criminal, President Putin made an unexpected trip to the very city where many of those crimes are alleged to have been perpetrated. Described as a working trip to Mariupol, the president met members of the public who appeared to be on the streets way before dawn on a Sunday morning. He stopped for a chat. Distributed by state media, Mr Putin is shown driving himself around town on his first visit to Ukrainian territory occupied by Russian forces. He visited newly refurbished buildings to meet grateful residents in this so-called impromptu appearance. Of course, they're in new apartments because the originals were blown up by the Russians.
Сколько здесь комнат у вас? Три. Да было три, дали три. Не будем беспокоить. Извините, пожалуйста, что так неожиданно. Спасибо, что зашли.
Indicted for overseeing a mass child abduction program, dismissed by Moscow as null and void, he inspected a new children's playground. Ukraine dismisses this visit as nothing more than Putin propaganda. It's certainly not going to make any difference to the war effort here. In fact, it might make people even more determined to take back Mariupol and make sure Putin can't visit again. Much of Mariupol was destroyed in the fierce fighting that raged for months. It's from this ruined city that many children were taken to Russian-controlled territory and across the border into Russia itself. Olga Yerakina is from Mariupol, driven from her home by the Russian forces. She's helping to get children returned to Ukraine and holds Putin personally responsible.
Russians came to our land, destroyed my native town, for example, and then brought these children under guise of evacuation, rescue, and promising a better future. But these children, they had future. They had their normal lives in their native town. They had their dreams and the schools and so on, so on, so on.
Putin is sending a message to the Russian people that it's business as usual, but it isn't. The country's at war and thousands are dying. Stuart Ramsey, Sky News, Kyiv.